You are here on purpose with a purpose by design. We're so excited to have you here today. And I tell you what, as always, the heavens just bring the most amazing guests. You already heard me introduce him to you. Today, we have Terryl Daluz with us. I just love saying your last name. Sort of makes me feel like I'm, somewhere European or something. Daluz. I love it. Welcome, Terryl. So my first question to you, sir, is who are you?
Well, as you said, my name is Terryl Daluz. I'm an award-winning playwright. I'm a producer. I'm an actor. I'm a speaker. I'm a change agent. My last name, when you said it, ironically, it means the light. And I discovered that it's a Cape Verde. My origin is from Cape Verde, which is on the Ivy Coast of Africa, but it was colonized by the Portuguese. So the last name could be Spanish or Portuguese, but in translation, it means the light. And how beautiful and how ironic for me, that is what I've been spending my life doing, trying to spread light. And so when finding out that what my name means, it just fit. God is good.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome, Terryl. The light. So we are sitting here today with a light carrier, literally living up to your namesake. And that's what you've been doing forever, is bringing forth the light. Yes. Wow, that is really amazing. Not only sounds like an awesome name, but it is an awesome name. Well, I know today you're gonna share with us a little about your story, your journey, because you have all these things that you've accomplished. How did you get there? You're going to talk a little bit about to us about that. Excuse me. So I have an empowerment quote that I would like to share with everybody because it made me think of you specifically today, Terryl. And this is the quote: "It is not enough to have lived, but being determined to live for something." Now that is by Winston Churchill.
Yes.
And that is a powerful quote to me, because I remember the time when I looked around my life and I went, what am I living for?
Yeah.
What is my purpose? And I didn't want to just get up and go to bed, get up and go to bed. Like, really, there had to be a purpose by design as to why I was here. And once tapping into that, there's a determination, I believe, inside all of us to run after that so that we can endeavor to live without regrets, to know that we're achieving the light, that we're bringing the light, that we're achieving our purpose. So that's what it means to me. But I really, really want to hear, and so do we all, what does that quote mean to you?
Wow. I think that means everything. A lot of times we as human beings spend our lives just living, right? Day to day. And each and every one of us has something in us that was given to us, was a God-given gift. And sometimes people spend their life doing things that is deterring them from finding out what it is, whether it's doing drugs, drinking, focusing on other things. And so they just end up living life day to day. But when you find that gift, that purpose, that light that's already in you, that thing that's already in you, when you find that and you start moving down that path of purpose, things start to open up. Your life, you see it in a different way. Everything that you do is beautiful, right? The things that are happening that may be bad in your life or that's going around, you see it as an obstacle, but it must have been there for a reason to take you to another level. So I think purpose, when you find your purpose, then you're in alignment with your greatness. You're in alignment with God.
Oh, wow. When you find your purpose, you are aligned with greatness, your greatness, and you are aligned with God.
Yeah.
That, you just took us to school, Terryl. That is powerful. You said the path of purpose, and you said to move down the path. And I love that. And that's what I want to ask you to do for us right now. Would you take us down the path of purpose? Would you share with us your journey on how you got on that path? Everybody, if you can see it, I got my pen, I got my paper, you should too, because he's already taken us to school here, folks. So are you ready for some more? Take us down the path of purpose, Terryl.
Okay. So like I stated, all the things that I've done in my life so far, and finding out my gift, I didn't always know I had it, right? I didn't always know. I didn't know what it was. And like most of us that are out here, maybe watching, you may not know what your gift is. Some may know what your gift is. Some may know what your gift is, but haven't opened it. Some people have opened their gift, but haven't shared it yet, right? But for me, I discovered it and started sharing my gift at an early age. I was about 6 years old. I can remember this vividly now, but back then I didn't think about it. Reading in front of the class, for something about it, I would love to read in front of the class. And when I got in front of the class to read, all of my classmates, I remember looking in their eyes and they were like, and the teacher was, and I would read the Dr. Seuss and the Cat in the Hat. And, I know I would not like them here nor there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. And I remember having the classmates on the edge of their tiny little seat. And it felt good watching, but I didn't know it then. And looking back at it now, I realized that God was preparing me for this very moment that I'm at right now. See, he blessed me with the gift of connecting with others at an early age. And I was sharing that gift without even knowing it. So while doing that, and teachers would always say, read again, the students, and I said, great, it was something about it. Then I got involved in the arts. And I was a shy kid, but when it came to speaking or performing or being in front of this classroom, I felt like something came over me and the shyness went away. And so I got involved in dancing. And dancing is no words, but it's still a connection with spirit, right? The Africans would dance and they would evoke an emotion. The Native Americans would dance, the Irish would dance, all the different cultures would dance, and it would connect with the spirit that evoked an emotion. So I danced, and I didn't take dance lessons. I just would dance, and people enjoyed it. And it was a feeling that I got when I danced. I was sharing something, a gift. So remember being about 15, and we would do talent shows, and I would dance, and I would win. So about 17 years of age, they had little teeny bopper clubs where you can go out and dance at, right? And me and a couple of friends would go out and dance. And then I became this name, Terrell the Dancer. And the irony is there was a rapper back in the days. I'm not going to say his name because then I'm going to age myself. And I don't think about age. I just live. I'm happy to be present, right? So the rapper saw me dancing in this nightclub, teeny club, and he invited me for an audition. And I went to the audition, and it was to be on a tour around the world at 17 years old. And they accepted me. So I traveled. So I was still in school, so I had to go to school and ask, can I have a leave, get a tutor, and sign off and do my paperwork? And I traveled the world with this rapper dancing. So then I thought, I am a dancer. That's what I am. That is my gift. I dance to the world and people enjoy it. And what ended up happening is, in the midst of dancing, someone saw, I was on his album cover picture. I was on Yo MTV Raps. I was on the video. I had a video. In the back of the video was the World Trade Center. I'll say the name of the rapper name was Steezo. Rest in peace. He passed away last year. And I was his dancer. And we toured with Ice-T and Special Ed and Sweet Tea and Kwame and all these different rappers. And I was on his album cover, and a casting director was casting a movie, and they said, who is that guy? They didn't know me. Who's that guy on the album cover? We would like for him to audition for this new movie. So the manager of the rapper called me and said, hey, we have an audition for a movie. I'm like, I didn't even, sign up for it. He's like, no, they want to see you. So I go to the audition. They send me the read. I read, and the casting director called me back the next day. Then I read again. The casting director called me back a week later. Then I read again. So I read about 3 times. And then they had me read with the director. And in the room, outside the room, waiting was Tupac, which is, everyone knows who Tupac is. The Queen Latifah, other famous rappers. And I go in the room, and the director's name was Ernest Dickerson. He was the director of he was the cinematographer of the movie Malcolm X, okay, which Spike Lee directed. He was the cinematographer. This was going to be his first movie as a director. Ernest Dickerson is a well-known director. And he said to me, you have something. You have a gift. I don't know what it is, but you need to continue to do what you are doing. So at that moment, I thought I was getting the part. And it was for the movie Juice, which is a classic movie that came out in 1991. So, I was like, I got the movie, all this, time, I got the movie. People are like, man, he got the movie. Looking back at it now, he just saw something in me that I didn't know that I had. And so I continued down that path thinking that now I am an actor. That is my gift. I am here to act. So I needed to know what to do after that. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm an actor. I have to explore what that means. I didn't ever take classes. So I reached out to a friend who knew someone in Hollywood. And I said, what can I do? And they said, you need to get involved with a theater company. And I said, what theater company have you been involved with? He said, the Negro Ensemble, which is the well-acclaimed theater company in New York City. Broadway plays the best, cream de creme. He said he was involved with that. I said, okay, thank you. I hung up the phone with him. A couple of days later, at 19 years of age, I went to New York City, originally from New Haven, went to New York City, walked into the Negro Ensemble on 40-something Street in Times Square and said, hey, I'm an actor and I'm ready to be a part of your theater company. And the lady behind the desk looked at me and said, do you know where you are? And I said, yeah, I'm at the Negro Ensemble. This is where Denzel Washington, this is where all the greats, Ozzie Davis, Samuel Jackson, this is where they studied and performed. She said, right. Who are you? I said, I'm Terryl Daluz. I'm an actor. She said, we don't know you, kid. And you can't just walk into a theater company of this caliber and get work. You have to put in work. I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do. So I remember that moment vividly. It was kind of emotional because I was like, my dream, I was a kid, I didn't know. And I started walking down this long hallway and there was pictures on the side, Soldier Story, with Soldier's Play actually at the time. Denzel Washington, Ozzie Davis, Samuel Jackson as I'm walking down, Ruby Dee, Cicely Tyson, all these people. And it was about maybe 30 feet long hallway, 30-foot long hallway. And as I get to the end, something in my spirit said, turn around, go back. And this kind of is a moment that when I listen to Les Brown, who's a mentor of mine, and he tells his moment of him going to the radio, say, hey, Mr. Butterball, I'm here to get the job. And they're like, do you have a resume? And he's like, no. And they said, then get out of here. And then he would come back, Mr. Butterball, I'm here. And then finally they were like, okay. So this is one of my moments. I walked down that long hallway and I went back to that woman at the desk and I said, listen, I know you don't know me. And I know you don't know what I can do. But I'm here for a reason. And I can do it. I can do whatever. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get to where I need to be. I'll pick up props. I'll sweep the floor. Yeah, that was very, it's an emotional moment, but I said it with such integrity And she said, sorry. But then this little voice from behind the desk came out and said, excuse me, young man. Older woman, black woman, pepper hair. She said, did you hear what that woman said to you earlier? I said, yes. She said that you're not ready for this and you left. What made you come back? And I said, because I believe I'm supposed to be here. She said, so you say you're willing to do anything? I said, yes. She said, okay. I'm going to have you pick up props. You're going to be this person over here is the production manager. You're going to be the stage manager's assistant. And as you go, I'll see if you can act. When it's time, I'll give you an opportunity. And I remember that moment. She said, come back tomorrow. Came back the next day. I was picking up props. They was getting ready for production. I did that for a couple of months. And then finally, the older lady said to me, let me see what you have. And I was already prepared. I already had my monologue 3 months prior. Zooman and the Sign, a well-known play, and I was ready. So when she said, what do you have? I hit her with the monologue, and she said, wow, you have something. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you an opportunity as an understudy. You're going to understudy a couple of these characters. What that means, you have to know every one of these lines and be ready at any moment to do them. And I remember sitting down, really getting connected to the lines, and they were on a production of a play called Church Fight, and there was a gentleman playing the role, and there was a character in there that was Brother Two-Face, and I remember the line, and and the guy couldn't make it, and she said, okay, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. And she gave me an opportunity, and I hit that stage. And then there was another opportunity of a character that I really wanted to play. It was a character that was a guy that played a heroin addict. And I never knew about, I mean, of course I never did heroin, but I had family members that did it, and I knew what it took to create. And this character, the guy that was playing the actor, was a main part. And it was my opportunity to be seen as a lead character. And he was a method actor, so he would come smelling, because it was a homeless. He was playing a character that was homeless. He would come smelling like he didn't shower for days. He looked like that, and he would come in late. And one day he came in, and it almost looked like he was high. We don't know. And she said, if you come back here like that again, you're not going to be in. Now, he was a brilliant actor. And this is another moment that Les Brown, remind me of Les Brown, when he said, drink, rock, drink. And there was a DJ, and he was on, and he would come there drunk, and this time he didn't show up, and Les Brown was sitting outside waiting, and Mr. Butterball called and said, hey, we may need you to go on the radio today. And he's like, yes, I'm ready. He said, but I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to play the records. It was that moment. And there was one day he didn't show up, and he came in late, and she said, get out of here, you're done. And I was like, I am ready. And she put me on that stage that night, and it changed my life. As a lead actor, I realized I can do it. So to make a long story short, I went on this journey, and I'm an actor now. Then I got into spoken word, and I'm a poet, and I started writing. Now, I've always been a creator, and I skipped this part, which was interesting. At 19 years of age, while in the theater company, I lived in New Haven, Connecticut, which at the time, and still is, was a college town in a small city, Yale University in a small city, but was impoverished. So those ivy walls, but on the backdrops of those ivy walls was hopelessness, gloom. So there was a duality in that town. Like people like Connecticut, the richest state, but in my town where I lived, we saw the wealth, but didn't have it. So there was a paradigm going on there, and impoverished. And I wrote a short film called Nightmare on Elm City Streets, because the name of the name that we were given for New Haven was Elm City because of the trees. So Nightmare on Elm City Streets was a short about what was going on in my community. Drugs, violence, AIDS just hit really bad. at that moment. It was 91. And I wrote this film and I said, I'm going to do it. Didn't know how I was going to do it, but I wrote it. I went to the local public access channel and knew they had cameras. And if you joined and became a member of them, you can use their cameras, and met a guy who knew how to work the cameras and said, I'm doing this film. I casted 17 different people. We got a sound equipment. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know how I was going to get it done, but I said, I'm going to do it. And we shot this film in a couple of days in the projects where gunshots was really going off in the background. Police was really pulling up. I even actually got the police officer to allow us to use the police station and we had a scene where someone was getting arrested. It was like, fine, we'll put, and so we had that. I was able to use the local high school. So I became a producer, casting director, writer, actor, cameraman, director, all in one. Now, it was horrible. I will say it wasn't the best acted piece. It did the jump editor, the edits would jump. I'm doing a scene, hey, next thing I'm like, hey. And so, but it was preparing me for something greater. And the message behind that story, I took it to high schools, prisons. I took it to North Carolina, Shaw University. I got invited to be on the Young Youth Leadership Speaker Convention because of that, because adults saw that I had something, and someone heard me speak and said, would you like to go to this conference? So then my life started taking those turns. I'm acting, now I'm speaking, now I'm creating films, and my trajectory started turning towards, you have a voice, you have something to say. And I got involved with an organization called City Kids, theater company in New York City, which was Laurie Meadoff was the founder, Demi Moore and Michael Bolton were the co-chair people. And I got to speak in different arenas all over the world. And I started saying, well, I'm a youth leader. I have a voice. And so in the midst of all of this, I'm finding, oh, this is a gift, this is a gift. And right in the middle of me getting a feature film, finally getting into SAG union, I finally got to a place, I'm there, I'm 25 years old, I'm there. Laurie Meadoff came to me and said, you have something, and we would like for you, and I'm living in New York at this time, we would like for you to become the director of our new City Kids program, and we're gonna start a chapter where you're from in New Haven. Now, I remind you, I've been gone for a couple of years by now. And so I had this dilemma. She said, I want you to meet with Michael Bolton, the singer, the Grammy Award-winning singer, who's the chairperson. He's putting up the money to start this chapter in New Haven, Connecticut. And so here it is. I finally made SAG. I'm in a feature film. The director took me, Hill Harper, and Taye Diggs out. They're well-known actors now, famous, but they weren't then. And he said, you guys are going to be the next thing in Hollywood. You guys. So he took me out. In the same month, I got asked to come back to my hometown, New Haven, Connecticut, to run a program. I'm figuring, what do I do? Am I chasing this? Can I help? And so I met with Michael Bolton. And Michael said to me, I heard about you. I saw you speak, and you have something. And who best to come back to his hometown, where he's from, is you. You've been other places. You've experienced other things. You know about City Kids. You can share with young people not too much younger than you. They'll see themselves in you. And I said, but I want to be famous like you, so I can come back and give back like you. And he said to me, and I remember this moment, he said, why do you want to wait until you become famous to give back? Because then that may be contrived. Then that may not be real. Your experience now are more important now. You always have time to pursue your dream of becoming it, but this is something in you that you have to give. And that changed my moment. That changed my life. And I said, you know what, you're right. And I came back to New Haven, Connecticut, And we barely just had a building. And within a couple of months, we had over 100 kids. We ended up building a multi-million-dollar recording studio. We had a multi-purpose room for them to learn how to perform. We had several conference rooms where we worked on leadership development. We got them involved with the mayor's committee and said, if you want to have youth leadership, then you need to have young people involved in the leadership position. So I started really finding my gift, my voice. And I realized, even then, I probably wasn't as sure as I am now, but I realized I'm not just a dancer. I'm not just an actor. I'm not just a poet. I'm not just a speaker. I have something to share and I'm able to connect with people. And even then, I knew it was something, but I wasn't clear. So those of you that are out there that are going down your path and you're finding things that keep coming up in your life, and it's bringing joy to people when you do it, and you smile when you do it, but you're not really thinking about, like, is this something that I can do? And you end up doing other things, and you're an insurance broker, and you're this, and you're that, and you're saying, this is what I am. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, because that's what my family told me I am. But there's something else that keeps finding you, that keeps bringing that light in you up, and you enjoy, but you don't know how you could make it your life, your livelihood. Just keep going with it, follow it. It's there for a reason. It's calling you for a reason. You are connected to it for a reason, and it will come out. It will show itself. You can't ignore it. You can't negate it. You have to allow it to be, and then it will come. And so as my journey continued, I kept being placed in these positions of talking to people and connecting with people and evoking emotions. And then I realized I have to create. And so I became this writer, and I want to help transform the lives of others through my art. And I realized this is my gift. My gift, like I said, isn't the tools. Those other things were tools that I use to express my gift. We all have them. We all have tools, whatever it may be. So if you're a great, I say, insurance agent, and reason why you're doing well, you're like, I'm an insurance agent, but you're great because you're great with people, because they love your smile, because people want to buy from you because it was something about you. So the tool is that you're an insurance agent. Your gift is already there, and it's coming out in whatever you do. When you go to the store and you meet people and they're like, wow, you're just so pleasant. I enjoy being around you. Your gift is there already. And so when you find it and you start to tap into it and be more intentional about it, then you become aligned with your purpose. So now you have your gift and you're in aligned with it. And when they're merged, there's limitless possibilities. There's nothing that you cannot do. So I'm at that place now, and I discovered that, ironically, last, I'll say 5 years, I became more intentional. I've always been pushed down the path of enlightenment since an early age. Everyone always says, you have something. Even in my neighborhood, in the violence, in the drugs, in the moment, there was a moment when everyone was selling drugs in my neighborhood. And I'll just be honest. And I didn't have money, single parent. I was the oldest, me and my little brother, latchkey kid. And I remember wanting the nice jeans and I couldn't have them. And I remember going to a friend who's selling drugs, and I said, can you just give me a week? I just want to make some money. And he looked at me and said, this isn't you. Imagine that. My friend, this isn't you. I see something greater for you. So here's $1,000. Go buy those jeans. I didn't see it then. You may not see it then. You may not see it then when you were in the midst of the things that you may see that are bad or whatever. But as I look back, at 17, I was in a vehicle taking a ride home from just getting off work. Worked at the hospital and was walking home, and some friends pulled up on the side of me and said, "You need a ride?" And I said, "Yeah." And they were from my neighborhood. And in New Haven, there was different neighborhoods that were rivals of other neighborhoods. And if you went in those neighborhoods and you weren't from there, bad things would happen. And we pulled into this neighborhood, and I knew this was our rival neighborhood. Now, I was friends with everyone, but because I lived in that neighborhood, a certain neighborhood, I was labeled. When we pulled into this rival neighborhood, I can recall the moment of, why are we here? And it was 3 guys in the car, and the driver, the passenger, back seat next to me, and me in the right passenger side back seat. And I said, "We're not supposed to be here. What are we doing here?" And they said, "We are going to pick up a friend who's stuck here at a party and he's surrounded." So the driver gets out. I see the silhouettes of people circling the car, because our cars were tinted so they couldn't see him, but we can see out. And I remember there was a gentleman that approached. He had a hoodie on, and I saw him reach, and there was a gun in his hand. And I said, "He has a gun." And next thing I know, I ducked and I heard gunshots. Ba, 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 ba. And our car was being riddled with bullets. In that moment of everything going fast, they say this happens. Everything slowed down when God reveals himself to you.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the bullets like a scene from The Matrix. Grazing past my head. I felt them grazing my face, the wind, the sound of ting, 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 glass breaking. I felt it. And in that moment of silence, while all this was going on, the muffling sound of gunshots and the smell of the smoke, I said a prayer to myself. And I remember everything slowed down, almost stopped. And then it was silent. And I jumped to the front to try to drive off, and then they started shooting again. And I felt this excruciating pain in my back. I fell back. I said, "I'm hit." The passenger said, "He's hit. I see he's bleeding." They rushed me to the hospital. They dropped me in front of the place, didn't even bring me in, said, "Don't say anything." Security guard brought me in. They operated on my back. And I remember the doctor said, "It was 2 inches away from your spine. You could have been paralyzed. If the bullet would have kept moving, maybe an inch or 2 more, you would have been paralyzed." What slowed it down was it went through the trunk, a tire in the trunk, and it slowed it down so it entered my back in fragments, and it was only about this much inside my back, so they were able to pull it out. He said, "You were lucky." And I remember that moment. I said, "No, I wasn't lucky. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm here for a reason, to see another day." It was a purpose.
How did that change you, that moment? I can see that it brings that emotion out in you right now. It's like you're there. I'm there with you. We're all there with you. How did that change you?
Wow. I was grateful. Which takes you down the path of gratefulness. Because when you're grateful, everything else doesn't matter. So in that moment of being in a hospital bed and knowing that I'm alive, and that there's someone in that hospital right now that was fighting for their life because someone else was shot really bad outside of the car. And his family was screaming and said, "Don't let him die. Don't let him die." And I can hear that. And this happens every day in our community. And I'm here for a reason. So I said, what am I going to do? Can I allow this moment, this bad experience, to create a bad mindset, or no? Do I turn on that light that's inside of us, that's already there, and switch on that light that creates and illuminates something in you and in me that finds the greatness and turns that bad moment into something beautiful? And so I said, when I get out of here, I'm going to do something to change my community. And that's how I got involved with, speaking, doing that production. People hear me speak. And so there's moments in your life that may feel like the lowest of the low, that may be almost near death, that were placed in your life for a reason, because you made it. You are here, you are present, you are breathing for a reason. And if you allow that situation to continue to change your mindset, because then I could have went into, I'm going to retaliate. Like my friend said, let's go back. I'm going to do this. We're going to go back and do. If I allow that, I wouldn't be the Terrell that I am today. So those moments that everyone has, it's not the end until it's the end. It's not over until it's over. So what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do? That experience that you've experienced, how is it going to change your life so that you can change the lives of others? And it's those moments that create change. It's those moments that you find that greatness in you. It's those moments, those breaking points sometimes. Bill Proctor said, there's a lot of things that happen in your life, right? And these paradigms that continue to happen over and over and over. In order to make those shifts, sometimes it has to be an emotional, drastic thing that happens, right? And if you still continue to go down that path after that emotional, drastic thing that happened, then you got to figure it out again. But it's that drastic emotional thing that happened that causes you to change, just shift your trajectory of your life. So where I am today is being intentional, constant repetition of the things that I see myself already having. I'm already there. So that those moments when I don't receive the part that I thought was my part. You know about, I came to you and said, hey, I got this opportunity. I'm gonna be in this big movie, blah, blah, blah. I'm auditioning. It was a great opportunity. And it didn't come to fruition. But like I said to you earlier, I'm open for everything attached to nothing. There's gonna be things in your life that you think that you really want, it's supposed to be yours, and you're gonna have it, and you envision it, and you think, oh yeah, this is gonna be it. And then that particular thing that you wanted didn't happen, and so then you want to give up. But here's the thing. Even though you envisioned it, it might not have been that thing that you were supposed to have. It's something else coming in the future. And if you let go of that moment of, I was supposed to have that thing, and just be in the moment of, it's still here, it's still coming. There's greater things to come, bigger things to come. So here I am today, a month ago, concerned about a movie part that I thought I was supposed to have. And then a couple of weeks later, I got an opportunity to produce on a film. So I go from an actor that's in the part to someone who's helping create a part, right? And so in that, there's greater things to come. There's greater things to come. And when we limit ourselves, we limit our greatness.
That's good. That is so good. I have to write that down. When we limit ourselves, we limit our greatness.
Limit our greatness. Life is beautiful. There's so many things out there for for everyone. It's already there. It's already there. I know it may sound cliche-ish, but when you really believe it, when you really, take it in and see it, it comes to you. It comes to you. I think I told you about this situation, and I'm just going to tell this story because that's the story that kind of changed my thought of being more intentional. It was a Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles, California. I was on Ventura Boulevard in the Valley, Studio City. I went into Pier 1, and Pier 1 is this beautiful store, have a lot of great stuff. And I saw this chair that it's like this beautiful nest, half a nest, and it has like a platform that you can put it on the ground and you sit in it and it's like a swing. And I was in the midst of, purchasing a home. We were looking for a home at the time, and I saw this chair and I sat in it. And something about when I sat in this chair, I just closed my eyes and I saw myself in my yard in this chair. And I just envisioned myself, and it wasn't intentional. I just sat there and I saw myself writing in this chair. And I was like, I want this chair. And I asked the lady, how much this chair cost? And she said, $800. And I was like, I'm not sure if I want this chair right now. So I was like, I'm buying a home. I don't know, but I really do want it. I'm going to get this chair. I will get this chair. I may not be able to get it today, but I will get this chair. So I went home after walking in the sun, and I typically don't go to bed this early. It was like 8 o'clock, and I must have took a nap. I went to sleep. I woke up at like 12 midnight, and my girlfriend was sleeping in the bed next to me, and I woke her up, and I said, hey, I just had a dream that I was in that chair, and I was writing. And she laughed, said, yeah, and I was sitting next to you, like making a joke. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I envisioned myself there, and it was so real. And she was like, okay. Went back to sleep, got up in the morning to go to work. Now, everyone that knows about LA traffic, there's traffic every morning, anytime. So I had to be to work at 9. I was on my way. It was about 8:15. I was getting on the freeway. And as I'm getting onto the onto the freeway, there's like a 1-lane, on-ramp. So I'm going around that on-ramp. And usually there's traffic going on there, but for some reason there wasn't. And as I get around the bend, right before the freeway opens up, there was something in the road. Looked like a body. And I got out of my car, pulled it to the side, put the hazards on, got out of my car. And as I walked up to the road, I looked, and on the ground was the same chair that I saw the night before, with the tag on it, brown, brand new. Now, in that moment, if people are listening to this, they're probably going, this can't be real. The believers are going, this is real. But if you guys are just questioning it, because my family, friends, different people questioned it, I looked up at the sky and I said, God, what are you trying to tell me? And I looked down. Now, this is just a chair, but it's a chair that I envisioned myself in. You don't see this chair anywhere. So I looked around, waiting for someone to come. I pulled it to the side. 5 minutes. No one pulling up on the freeway. Rush hour traffic in LA. 8 minutes. Nobody pushing up. 9 minutes, 30 seconds. A white van is pulling around the bend. I'm like, okay, there he is. I reach over to the side. I'm holding it. He slows down because he has to go around me. I'm like, hey, he looks at me like, why is this guy waving at me, and keeps going? So it wasn't his. So at that moment, I said, okay, let me try to fit it in my car. It couldn't fit. I put it on the side of the road. I said, here's the deal. I'm going to go get a van. If I come back, it's supposed to be mine. I go to work, tell my coworker. She's like, no, it can't be. I said, watch. I'm going to get a van. I use my job van. I go back. I get go back. I drive around the freeway. I'm going up the bend. And as I look to the right, on the tree is still the chair. And I now have that chair in my yard, and that's the chair that I write in. So that moment was so real for me that it got me to start looking into manifestation. That moment was, I knew that I was able to manifest things really. Now I've heard about it, but I didn't know how it really worked. And I didn't know if you're really intentional and if you really believe and envision and create an emotion and see yourself there, that it could happen. So from that moment, I started searching. I started listening to Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Eckhart, Wayne Dyer. I started reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. I started searching into myself. And that's when I found that God already placed this in me. So everything that I was going through in my past, I was able to connect the dots and say, thank you. It was already here. It was already there. And
Yes.
now I found it. I'm intentional, and now I can be more intentional about the moves that I make and the thoughts that I have and the words that I choose to say. So be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of the words, the choices that you make, the words that you say, because we do it every day. How many people say, man, this day sucks? And then guess what happens? You get into a car accident. Someone bumps you. You're waiting for this. You're having a bad day. Your employee or your employers are giving you bad energy. You created it because you said it, you thought it. So how about if we switch it around and say, I'm having a blessed day. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm having a blessed, beautiful day. When you switch it around, you're creating the energy. You're vibrating on a certain level. And that vibration then is attracting what you're saying and what you're thinking. And as you continue to vibrate on that level, those things that you want and see come to you.
Man. Shit. Awesome. Can I ask you to expound a little bit more, Terrell, on intentional?
Mhm.
Because that word it's a striking word today.
Mhm.
And without you even trying to be intentional, you ended up with this awesome chair.
Mhm.
But you were intentional once you realized what was going on.
Right.
Coming
Right.
back and doing all the things, right?
Right.
But that word is really strong in my heart today. I believe that there's people that need to hear more about that. Like when it comes to setting that intention, what does that look like? How do you do that when life just seems to be handing you the lemons? You hear people say, well, then make lemonade. Well, ha, ha, ha. Easy for you to say. You're not in the mess that I'm in. When everything doesn't look right, when you just don't feel like there's anywhere to go, there's nowhere to go, not even up. How do you start being intentional so that you can manifest the good?
Mm. Mm. Okay. So there's two words. There's attention and intention, right? And a lot of times, we all put attention on something. And if we put attention on something, things tend to fester or grow, either good or bad, right? So if you put attention on how you're feeling, and if it's in a down place, the attention is going to start attracting, those things. Intention is when you're able to look at something and go, what is it that I want from this? What is it that I would like to see happen from this? How do I create this moment? So you're not caught up in the attention of it. You step away from it and you go, so right now it seems that I'm having a bad day. because that's what my emotions is feeling like right now. And I've been putting attention on those emotions. But I'm going to step away from that and go, okay, I was feeling bad for a moment. But why? What is going on? What is happening? Why do I keep having these moments? And why can't I switch it to have these moments? Okay, so why can't I? Because I'm still putting attention on this. So why don't I be more intentional and switch what I'm thinking about to something better, so then I can create better moments. So when you step into a situation and you're intentional about it, what do I want to see happen? What do I need to see happen? And a lot of times we get caught up in the attention of the things that are going on, but not intentional. So if I'm have this dream of, I just say a lot of people talk about, let's talk about wealth. So I have this dream of earning, $1 million a year. That's your dream. You want to have $1 million a year. But your attention is always on that you don't have it. So your attention is on the lack of. You're going to continue to get the lack. Because although you're saying you want $1 million a year, but I got a bill. Damn it, how come I keep getting these bills and I can't pay the bill? You look at your bank account and it's in the negative. Your attention on what you don't have is on what you don't have. Okay. And so now you're stuck in this rut, but you're saying, I want $1 million a year. That's on your card. Your desire card, I want $1 million a year. I want it. But every time you get up in the morning or every time you go about your day, your attention on is what you don't have. That's when you're continuing to get what you don't have. So if you switch it, and going back to intention, Bob Proctor, I've read Think and Grow Rich. I listen to him all the time, but, and I've know the 13 principles. And when you go into auto-suggestion mode, you go into desire mode, you go into faith mode. When you go into those modes, you're able to switch that paradigm, which is lack paradigm, lack of money, lack of whatever it is, paradigm, into having mode. And remember, I said earlier, it usually happens either when something drastic or emotional happens, or constant repetition. Because that's how we get into those modes anyway. Coming up, I heard money doesn't grow on trees. We don't have it. How do you think we're going to be able to do that? In order to get money, you have to be wicked. Money is bad. Rich people that got money did something wrong, right? So those are the conditionings that I heard, the paradigms that I was told. But then I was hearing, and then I was seeing friends getting money because they were selling drugs. So I'm like, oh, okay. In order to get money, those wealthy people that I see in my neighborhood are doing something wrong, right? And so those paradigms become a part of you because those are the repetitional thoughts and things that people are saying to you over and over and over and over. So if you switch it and start changing up your thoughts and the things that you're taking in, money isn't bad. Money is good. My relationship with money is beautiful. When I have money, I can do more things. When I have money, I can live comfortably. When I have money, I can help other people. I love money. When I see my bill, instead of, I'm thankful that I'm able to pay my bill because I have money. If I don't have the money, money will come, right? So repetitiveness, I'm happy. I'm thankful that now that I have money, I've been saying this, and this is something, it's funny because I just took a course with John Tellerico and Bob Proctor, and there's one that they said, that they gave us to repeat, and I've been repeating it in my own words, but it's one that they stated that I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $1 million a year. It's clearly imaged in my conscious mind and effectively planted through constant spaced repetition in my subconscious emotional mind. Therefore, it's presently moving into physical form. So that's one they gave. I've been saying one all along, similar to that. But what you're basically doing is you're reprogramming your subconscious mind, which controls your behaviors and your emotions, not the intellectual mind that's saying, I want money. Because your intellectual mind is saying, I want this. Your intellectual mind saying, I can do this. But your subconscious mind is going, no, you can't. You're from the hood. You're a woman. You're overweight. You're too dumb. You don't have the education. All those thoughts that people have been telling you. So when you're intentional about what you put into your subconscious mind, then you'll start to see the changes in your life, because your intention is to vibrate on a certain level and to see yourself on a certain level that you already have within you.
Yes. Woo, you brought that home. And so when I wrap this up and put a bow on it, when it comes to that intention, your intention sets your attention.
Yes. Yes.
It sets your attention. And if we're not guarding what we're intentional about, we automatically, unfortunately, will become intentional about what our attention is on. Yes. And our attention is on the bill, the this, the that. I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not the right, whatever, right? And on what looks like all of these bad things.
Right.
But when we, through that constant repetition that you talked about, and how much better is it, folks, to make that change on your own right now? Constant repetition, constant space repetition, continuing to feed yourself the right things, set those right intentions, rather than having to have that explosion that you talked about. Like, and then it's, okay, fine, that happens, but then it's from the bottom up, right? You have to, it's a shocker. Like,
Yes.
Bob Proctor talked about 9/11, right? And that was one of those moments for everybody. But if we will take that, if we will set the intention right now, look at the thoughts. Don't blame everybody else and everything else. Take that ownership and set that intention for something higher, something better. Pay attention to your attention.
Yes. Yes.
Doubt the doubts and the fears. Don't attend to them, right?
Yep.
So that is just incredible how you brought that home for us today. Oh my goodness. That intention, everybody. I hope you're grabbing this, because that intentionality, I wrote down so many notes here. That is what is going to switch you from I can't to I can. Yes. I won't to I will. And finally, it is to where it is. Act as if. You're not pretending when you say that. It's where you're setting your heart at that moment. And it switches your focus. It narrows it, right? And that is how our guest here, Terryl, has achieved his status. And I love how you said, I'm a dancer, I'm an actor, I'm a producer, I'm a speaker, but really you are all, because it's all the tools, as that was great. It's the tools of your gift. Everybody out there, set that intention. What are the tools of your gift? What is your gift? If you don't know, just stop and think about it for a while. Go find somebody that loves you and will build you up. get in touch with Terrell or me. We'll tell you. Right?
Yeah.
But that's it. Find that gift and utilize those tools. As he has said, this story, you took us right with you. I was right there with you from the gunshot to everything that you went through, the theater, cleaning up props. I mean, you just took us on this ride. And as Les Brown always says, don't tell a story without a purpose. And with every purpose, there's got to be a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your story has this purpose, intention,
Thank you.
and helping people. And you wear that badge. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here today. And is there anything else that you don't feel that you were able to pour out, that you're like, I got to say this? Is there anything else on your heart?
I guess I would just wrap it up with how I started. As I took you through my journey, I didn't know what my gift was, like I stated. And it wasn't until maybe 5 years ago when I realized what my gift was, and then I started to be more intentional about it. The beauty of it is, other people that talked to me today said, I already saw it. There's nothing changed. You are doing what you've always been doing since you were a kid, and I didn't see it. So everyone out there, like Pamela said, you may have a gift that you are not aware that you have, but it's something that you do that makes you smile when you do it, or makes other people smile. And if you just go and ask someone or other people that love you, like, what is it about me that you like? What is it about me that brings you joy? They're going to tell you something, and that's going to make you smile. And when that makes you smile, you realize that that is your gift. That is your purpose. And continue down that path. Whether it's some people, it's music. They, have friends that they played music all their life, but they were an accountant. But they never shared their music. But when they shared their music, people were like, oh my gosh, he's a great piano player. And now, at whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. They're playing out in parks, in venues, and they feel joy. And it brings joy to other people when they hear them play their music. It may be your smile that when you walk in the room, you just light up the room. So what could you do that brings joy to people, that when you walk in the room? So find the tool that you can use, that when you walk in the room, just your presence alone makes people smile, whatever it may be. You may realize that, wow, I'm a great, I'm great with people. So I want to do this and do that. You have it already there. And like myself, and I'm sure like Pamela, we didn't always know what it was. We may have had little inklings of it, but it took something to happen for us to find it. So you find it. You have a light within you. We all have that light within us. Let it shine.
Woo, let it shine. I love that. Oh, thank you so much for being here today. This has been so enlightening. We have had the light bearer here. Terryl Daluz, the light bearer. I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching. I know you've been so blessed. Do us a favor. These shows are on demand. So guess what that means? Yep, that's right. Right below where you're watching, there's a share button.
Yes.
I believe this story needs to go viral. What do you all think? You know what? We can all do our part and share this story. Would you be intentional along with Terrell and I? And let's be intentional and share this everywhere so people hear this. Thank you for being a part of the Pamela Show, Terrell. Thank you to all of you who are here today, where we learn and grow together. Remember, you have a purpose. by design and not by default. So go on out there and continue to be the salt and the light everywhere you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ascend Above the Crowd is the newest course by Pamela Hinkle. Ascend is a self-paced email course that will come directly to your inbox and will change your mindset and your life. Each week, you will receive lessons, resources, challenges, and journal writings that will help you discover your purpose by design. It's your time to ascend above the crowd. To learn more about Ascend, go to www.purposewithpamela.com/ascend.
Pamela Hinkle is the founder of the Purpose Center. Pamela is a mindset mentor, author, speaker, minister, and transformation coach. Her weekly podcast, international radio show, and television show are a lifeline that changes lives and inspires people to discover their individual potential through realizing their purpose by design. Pamela is a natural motivator and has shown many how to find their niche and transform their lives. Although success is an uphill battle, Pamela gives the necessary strategies to flourish, cheering you on every step of the way. Pamela shares from her personal experiences, education, and life as a woman in leadership, utilizing decades of knowledge. Taking the approach of, let's have coffee and chat, she will awaken your dreams and purpose by design. Are you ready for Pamela to help guide you? Email us at purposewpamela.office@gmail.com or go to her website at purposewithpamela.com.